Listen to me when I say this. You can earn and save enough money while studying in Canada as an international student to pay your fees. I regret not doing this for myself, but I've learned exactly how to do it, so stick till the end of this video to learn. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my channel Varun in Canada, where I help you make better decisions by providing you tips, hacks and information about life in Canada. So today we are going to talk about how to earn and save enough money as an international student so you can pay your fees. We will go through this together, and there's 3 things that you need to know in this whole video is how to do it, points to remember and habits to form to make this happen. Let's get right into it. Without wasting any time, the first point is going to be live on GIC until you get your job. Now, all international students deposit $10,000 in their GIC account. In the first month when you are in Canada, you will receive $2,000 as a lump sum payment only for the first month. Every month after that, you will be getting about $700 a month. What you need to do is try to keep your living expense as low as possible and try to fit it in the $700 you get from GIC. What those expenses include is rent, grocery, public transport and your phone bill. These are all necessary bills. You cannot really avoid them, but what you can do is try to reduce them and make sure that they do not exceed the $700 per month mark. Now, this first point is not only about reducing your expenses, but also not starting unnecessary expenses, which I did. Again, one of the things I regret, and I need you to know this so you can avoid this. Stop and think twice, think thrice before starting any unnecessary expense. That one gadget, that one electronic product, that one service, whatever it is, which is going to cut money from your bank account every month, may it be a contract, may it be a monthly subscription service, you really need to think, do you really need that? Because in your 2 years of being a student, you might as well completely dive into your education and also working on productivity for yourself rather than just buying products and buying services and completely letting go of your finances. Now, moving on to the second point is once you get a job, what you need to do. Consider your minimum wage is $15, which is the Ontario minimum wage, or it can even be $16 if you find a job which pays you $16 per hour. 20 hours per week as an international student is what you're allowed to work, which gets you an income of about $1,200 to $1,300. Now, as an international student, you will be working through your semesters. While you work through your first 2 semesters, one semester is about 3 to 4 months, and at the end of 2 semesters, if you keep on working part-time 20 hours per week for 2 semesters, you will earn up to $10,000 to $11,000. If you end up getting the job a bit late, not immediately when you landed in Canada, that's also still fine. You still end up saving and earning $5,000 to $7,000. So by now what we have established is in 2 semesters working part-time, if you joined a job immediately as soon as you came to Canada, which is a bit difficult, but if you did manage that, you end up earning $10,000 in those first 2 semesters. And if you join late, you end up earning $5,000 to $7,000. Now, why these numbers need to be thought of? It's because I did not take these numbers into consideration, and a lot of the times when you are also getting paid $700 from GIC, plus you have a part-time income, you really think that, oh, I'm getting a lot of money and I can really go out and buy some things. Oh, I saved up for 2 months. Now I can go ahead and buy that phone. Hear me out. I regret buying new iPhones maybe every 1 or 2 years. I regret buying that gaming laptop. I regret buying that camera, and I would have easily controlled my spend on buying headphones, which I love because I love music. I could have easily saved money instead of buying multiple different types of headphones and earphones. Now, if I had a time machine again to go back in time, I would tell myself, don't buy these products. You probably don't even need so many of them. You do not need this, you do not need that. Rather than this, spend your money on travel. That experience is way better than buying some materialistic thing. Now, you might say you do prefer materialistic things to buy rather than traveling. I understand that. I was in that place. I thought the same. But trust me, materialistic things only can help you and make you feel good only until a certain point. But traveling may be just a 1 or 2 day short road trip, may it be a whole week of vacation. It really depends on how much money you want to spend, but that is a much better spend than buying something materialistic. And additional to that, I would definitely go for recreational events. It can be outdoor activities, indoor activities, just meeting up with friends, enjoying that experience of being in Canada as an international student instead of just buying some gadgets. Now moving on to not just fun and recreational things, also moving to productivity events, which is like career-based events. It can be seminars, it can also be online courses. Online courses is one of the biggest thing that I would have definitely liked to start exactly when I was in college, when I had those 2 years, when I had 2 years after the college to actually go through some online courses, which would have helped me build really good skills, which would have helped me in return in getting a good job or applying for a good job, or at least would have made it a bit easier for me to get good jobs. If this content is helping you make better decisions, please smash that like button, share and subscribe to help me build something bigger, because I have way more information to share. Also, please stick till the end of this video, because the last tip, the last point is the most underrated solution, the most underrated point to save money in Canada. Now moving on to the third point, which is work full-time between semesters, which is your semester break. Confirm with your program coordinator about the semester break. How many days would you be getting the break for? And just to confirm once again, it is already a known fact, but just to confirm once again, ask the program coordinator if you can work full-time between the semesters, which will be your break. Usually this break is about 2 weeks. It can also be 3 weeks. It really depends on your college. It really depends on the dates of your semesters. But only 2 weeks of full-time gets you $1,300. So what you would have otherwise earned in a whole month of part-time, of course, obviously, you're earning that amount in half of the time because you'll be working full-time. And if you're lucky enough, if you get 3 weeks of break, you're earning more than $1,300. And when you consider both of the first semesters, the 3 months of your first semester, 3 months of your second semester, 2 weeks break between the first and the second semester, and then 2 weeks break after the second semester. This basically means you have 1 whole month of full-time, including 6 months of part-time. Now this total adds pretty high. So the basic calculation of your earnings would be the part-time hours that you worked in the semesters, the total would come up to, as I said, $10,000 to $11,000. Let's consider $10,000 on the lower end, and including the full-time work that you would be doing between the semesters for the breaks, that will go up to $1,600 to $2,000. So basically, at the end of 2 semesters, what you end up with is a $12,000 earned. Now, it's completely in your hands to make sure that that earned amount turns into complete saved amount. And how you can do that is basically by following the first point, which is keeping your expenses as low as possible, not starting unnecessary expenses. That $700 mark is the sweet spot. Try to squeeze in everything for your monthly expense in that $700 so you don't end up spending any of your earned income. Now, coming to the point that I was mentioning before, the most underrated point is this one is a big money saver. Trust me on this. I have gone through this whole journey and I've realized it months after months, what went wrong, what should have been done, and I learned it pretty late. I learned it after many dollars spent. I don't want you to do this. If my experience can help you, please use that, because that's exactly why I'm here for. And that point is cook at home. Make that coffee at home. Trust me on this. You will think, oh, this is so obvious. I'm anyway gonna cook at home. I'm anyway gonna just make the coffee at home. Trust me, when you come over here, when you come to a good city, you will end up observing that there are so many good restaurants, there are so many good cafes, and it's human nature that you would want to explore. You would want to eat different cuisines, you would want to eat good food, you would want to visit good cafes which have really good coffees or beverages or whatever you're interested in. And it gets very difficult to kill that desire. While I do not suggest to completely kill off that desire and kind of live an unhappy life over here, that is definitely not what I would suggest. But 9 out of 10 times, make sure that you cook at home and you make your coffee at home. Let me get into some details about this. As we are in this topic, I cannot stress this point enough. Cooking food at home and making coffee at home saves a ton of money. Usually when you're in your college phase, you are running around, you're going to lectures, you're going to lab practicals, you're going to your part-time job, you're going front and back, there's too much of public transport, there's a lot of movement. And what will end up happening is you will be extremely hungry and you also might be tired. No one can think straight when they are that hungry. In those times, you will definitely want to eat something really good. You will definitely want to eat something that you like. And most importantly, because of the time crunch, because you do not have a lot of time to make sure that you have food with you, you might end up eating outside. You might go for pizzas, sandwiches, Indian food, Chinese, it can be anything that you really like. I will definitely say this, don't completely cut out what you like to eat. Maybe go to restaurants once a week or once in 2 weeks, really depends on how much you want to go, but keep it to the minimum so you don't end up putting that much money every week or every month, and then at the end of the month or end of 3 months you realize you put in a huge amount of your income in food. Now, if you don't know how to cook food, just make it a point to learn how to cook food, to learn a few dishes, 4 to 5 dishes that you like, be prepared, understand how to make them, understand what you need to get to make them at home. But this way, instead of spending $10 to $15 per meal, except the tips and taxes, you would get 4 to 5 meals in only $20 worth of grocery. Now, you really need to get into smart shopping mode. You cannot just go to a grocery store and just pick up whatever you want, pick up whatever you think is delicious, and then expect it to be only $20 for 4 to 5 meals. It has to be smart shopping. I have to mention this again and again. Smart shopping is the only way you can make sure that you're shopping and yet you're still saving. Now this way, if you manage your meals, if you manage what ingredients you're buying, those 4 to 5 meals which costed you only $20, that means they were 5 times lesser amount per meal than that one meal you bought outside. 5 times is a huge amount. Just think about that. If you are only going to think about $10 to $15 and $20, and then you might be like, okay, that's not a lot of a difference. Yes, it's just one meal for 15, 4 meals for 20. But when you think about the 5 times the cost per meal, think about it for the whole month. Then think about the total amount you paid for the food you ate outside and for the food you paid at home. Now that 5 times amount is way bigger. Now moving on to coffee. Now this can also apply to tea, but usually people don't buy teas out here. At least when it comes to coffee, a $2 Tim Hortons coffee or a $6 Starbucks coffee, at that moment when you're going to buy it, doesn't feel like a lot. You might also think, I mean, $2 for a coffee, that's not a lot. $6 for a coffee, if you got that kind of money, you will also again think, that's not a lot. But at the end of the month, look at your bank statement. It's not going to be $2 for a coffee. It's not going to be $6 for a coffee. It's going to be $6 every single day because you would want a coffee every single day. This is only for people who drink coffee every day. At the end of the month, it comes up to 30 times of that. If you go with Starbucks, if you go with $6 per cup, that comes up to around $180 to $200. And this is just thinking about the coffee you picked up. There will be days you might just pick up a cookie, a pastry, or something else, something extra, and that's gonna be another $2, $3 more. Trust me, when you hear these amounts and they sound small, they are not. You need to consider this fact that they are going to multiply, they are going to be replicated every other day for 30 days. Now, I'm talking this through my experience, and my experience is the only reason I'm talking so passionately about this, because there was a time when I was having one Starbucks coffee a day, and at the end of the month, I looked at the total amount, and the amount, instead of being only at maybe 180 or 200, which I was going to be fine with because I was working full-time after college, the total of Starbucks spent was at least $300 to $400. And I was just thinking, how the hell did this happen? The coffee cost should not have gone more than $200, isn't it? What I realized is Many times when I did go to Starbucks on that specific day at that time, maybe I was feeling happy, maybe I was feeling sad, I did go and buy a few other things as well. I got a cookie, I got something else, maybe I just got a wrap along with my coffee. Now, all of this ties up to the point that I spoke before, is also to make your meals at home. Otherwise, you end up buying $8 Starbucks wraps, which is just, it's a waste of money. You should just make that wrap at home and it's gonna be really great. When I looked at that amount, which was about $400, I was horrified. $400 in a month on Starbucks. That was a wake-up call. There's only one purchase I did in Starbucks after that, which was a thermos or a coffee sipper, which keeps the coffee hot. That's the only thing I bought from Starbucks. And from that day, I have started making coffee at home. Any of the coffees that I've tried until now to make at home costed me less than $1 per cup. And that cup was not even a fixed size. That cup, that quantity, I could have taken it up to 500 ml as well by just adding more powder and more water without even raising a lot of cost. And that is what you need to realize in terms of your beverages, in terms of your food. Everything that you will make at home, even if you're not great at making it at first, you will get better. You will keep on learning new things. YouTube is right there for you to learn how to make better food and better beverages. Trust me on this. When at the end of the month you look at your bank statement and it only shows $40 spent on coffee beans or maybe $40 spent on tea packets, you will be much happier looking at that amount and realizing you did not really cut down on what you like. You still had your coffee, you still had your tea or whatever beverage you like, but you did not unnecessarily spend or fill in the banks of Starbucks and Tim Hortons. If you love these tips that I gave you on how to earn and save and pay your fees while studying as an international student in Canada, then make sure you hit that notification bell, because in the next video, we are going to discuss if you should come to Canada after your 12th standard or after your graduation. See you in the next one. Peace.